Call the banners.
All of them, my lord.
They've all sworn to defend my father, have they not?
They have.
Now we see what the words are worth.
The beacon of Amodine is lit!
Hope is kindled.
Shalom, and welcome to another episode of TEOTW Exposing Himself. Yeah, there's going to be quite a few of these. So let's get into this episode. So TEOTW Behind Closed Doors actually praises the YAP Gang in their knowledge of DNA. Yes, you heard that right. TEOTW acknowledges and knows that the YAP Gang understands DNA science, and he even praised them behind closed doors. And he didn't do this once, or twice, or not even 3 times, but total 5 times that Teo praises the YAP Gang concerning DNA. Even tells us to take over the DNA subject, that he's done with DNA, and that we should be the ones talking about DNA. Teo says all of this.
And at least you guys are have your answers more thorough. But a lot of the people that's teaching the haplogroup are not presenting what you guys are saying. So when we say autosomal is better, it's because when we know and I'm not saying in your scenario, because you guys at least are looking deeper. As a scientific exercise, I'm not saying this is not valid, and I think you guys are doing a good job understanding this. But I think maybe you guys have a better understanding of what we were saying and the issues. I hope, because it's very complex.
Money. If we stick with the DNA, even Jewish people are surprisingly seeing, like, oh, these black people might actually be able to prove something with this DNA stuff.
And look, we are totally cool with that. Y'all can be the DNA experts, but we don't want to touch it.
So all of these things count. So we take all these things in consideration. So this is why, like, we know you guys are really good in prophecy. We're trying to dig in another the area. So we don't take it as a religion. You know, we don't take it as, we just like, if we're going to talk about this, then we got to be thorough. It might seem like we're being zealous, religiously zealous about it, but we're not. This
So
is
here's
not our
the thing,
religion.
Dawn.
Can y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? Because my mic
So I
is
wanted to say one thing. We hear you, sister. That religion thing was not about y'all. We were not. It was not including y'all,
Guys. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Guys, when I said that, I was not even talking about y'all. To be honest, I didn't know y'all existed, to be honest. And so, you know, I wasn't talking about y'all because I didn't know what y'all work was. But, you know, what I was talking about, there's a lot of random guys that go on Berean and they're just throwing out words and haplogroups and just making these generic statements and not doing what you guys are doing right now. And so, you know, we're saying if you're not going to answer these, you know, look at the questions, right? Like I said, the scientific method wasn't being applied, right? The first thing was to, you know, ask questions and ask more questions. And that includes the intention of the people sampling, the area they sampled, you know, and I'm like, that's why I said, you know, it was like all these words were being spoken, haplogroup this, that, in this area, and the Tufi, and this and that, but there was no scientific application to it, right? And I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just saying the randoms who came on there. I'm talking about Abu. You know, it was just throwing this intellectual, you know, exercise without putting any detail or bringing, as we like to say, bringing any receipts. You know, I'm glad you guys have some receipts. You know, because we you know, as you know, we're not interested in DNA. You know.
I don't know. I'm just making something up.
I think we should go live with this. I think we should allow everybody to come on and speak with that. You know that because the whole ugly part of everything that's going on is we going live. Everybody.
Well, fellas, we were played against each other, right? Because. You know, yeah. You know,
and I tried to avoid that in the beginning, but it may have came off wrong, so I do apologize for that.
Yeah, because we were not trying to own you know, the whole science because we pulled away from it 2 years ago. But Abu came in there, and then Orthodox backed Abu, and then Orthodox created a straw man argument that he tried to make us defend. And I'm like, we were never trying to own this. I totally respect where you guys are coming from. I'm glad we were able to have the conversation, and I hope you understand what we were coming from with autosomal, and maybe, you know, that there are some valid arguments there. You know, not that we were saying it's the only way to go, but we have some issues when we're looking at the data, because, you know, from like my brother said, from a computer programming standpoint, for us to solve our problem, a question produces another question until we find an answer and produce another question until we can get a synthesis of you know, a common ground. So, you know, that's what led us to say, you know, there's some issues. But I mean, I'm glad you guys have some answers. And I mean, I'm willing to, you know, back you guys on that. Because tell you the truth, when Yeshu embarrassed G-Con, I was on his side. But when I got attacked on Berean show, you know, that's when I had a problem, right? And so, you know, I'm good with what y'all doing, and I think we should have had that conversation instead of going on Berean, because Berean is the author of mess.
Oh,
right?
Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah.
People ask, I go up there because in the midst of the mess, somebody got to have a little voice of reason when it comes to our community. Because he'll go find the worst representative of our community to go up there, and then I'll be like, this is not how we're going to do it. We're going to make sure that we have the right representative up there. So he is the first one.
Yeah, and if anybody ever like let's say you're on Berean TV and someone brings up DNA, I think it's best when it comes to stuff like that, just say, hey, we got Israelites in the field of genetics. Go talk to, you know, Yeshua, the Hebrew of Israel.
Expert.
Yeah.
Y'all the expert. We're gonna send them our way because we don't have anything to do with it.
So as y'all just heard multiple times, TEOTW continuously praised the YAP Gang for DNA and their understanding of the subject. And I find it very interesting how he tries to fluff in front of his audience when it comes to YAP Gang now, but privately he actually praises us, and I believe this actually is very telling. But I'm not surprised because Teo is a very fake individual, so of course, in front of his audience, he'll try to pretend that the YAP Gang doesn't know what they're talking about, but behind closed doors, he knows exactly that we are correct when it comes to the DNA, as you just heard, praising us. But hey, that's just another episode of Teo exposing himself. Shalom.
In this life I earned it. No white man, no black man, no Jew man gon' stop me or block me or mock me. Just watch me, I came back like the Mach D. Harder than government block cheese. Push button, no car keys. This art form is a part of me. This world so cold, my heart freeze. Unthaw me, Lord. Even when I didn't realize it, you still saw me, Lord. My prayers that the brotherhood can get on one accord. Cause we cannot afford anyone sowing seeds of discord.